Hey ML people, think of this particular episode as your A&R episode. Today's biggest hit singles aren't coming from the US or the UK, where they have traditionally come from. They're coming from Sweden. And I know that you all at some point have heard of the incredible Max Martin, who is a Swedish songwriter, record producer, and singer responsible for a lot of major hits. Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, Katy Perry, Maroon 5, Taylor Swift, and the list goes on. Well, I believe that I'm introducing you to someone who is just as good and who potentially can be the next big thing in terms of producers, and he happens to also be out of Sweden. His name is Joakim Karud. And before we get started, the first thing we're going to do is listen to one of his tracks called Dizzy. It will get you feeling dizzy and happy on a brand new week in a very, very good way. So we'll listen to it and we'll come right back and get the show started.
You're listening to the AfricaMusicLaw.com show, Africa's premier entertainment law show empowering the African artist. And now, your host, attorney, speaker, visionary, game changer, Ms. Uduak.
Welcome everyone to the AfricaMusicLaw.com show. I told you this artist, this producer was bad like that. I absolutely love the track Dizzy, and actually that's how I said, who is that? Who is that guy? I gotta find him and get him on the show. If you're just joining us for the first time, allow me to officially introduce myself. My name is Uduak Oduak, Miss Uduak for short. I'm a fashion and entertainment lawyer with the law firm of AB2 Law Group PC, located in California, USA. The African Music Law Show is a show that is about the business of empowering the African artist and the creative industry at large here in the US and across the African continent. Our execution is pretty simple. We take on the latest in celebrity legal drama, music business, and industry news, and we provide legal and business commentary and analysis on hot topics in pop culture that intersect and at times collides with the law. We also invite our industry experts, our artists, and other cool people, which will be you, our audience, our subscribers, to share their insights and experiences to benefit everyone. Now, if you want to stay updated, you can subscribe to what is a weekly podcast show. We publish every Monday, but we're in holiday season, so you're actually going to get extra special treats during this holiday. We'll be going at least 2 podcast episodes this week, next week, and then we'll finish out with 1 podcast episode for the year. So, to subscribe, go directly on the website at africamusiclaw.com. You can find us via poddirectory.com. If you have an Android, you can find us as Stitcher Radio. iPhone and iPad users, check us out on iTunes. Don't forget to rate us and leave comments on iTunes so we know how we are doing. And if you want to follow me, the host, yours truly, and stay updated on the projects that I'm working on, feel free to check out my personal website, www.msuduak.com, or follow me on Twitter at UDUAK Law. My Twitter handle is at the @UDUAK Law. For sponsorship inquiries, feedback, or to appear on the show as a guest, please email me at africamusiclaw@gmail.com. I'm excited about the show, so let's get this party going. And let me introduce you officially to Joakim Karud. Joakim Karud is a multifaceted and talented music producer from Sweden, best known through YouTube, where his music has been featured in approximately 100,000 videos, you guys. His sound recordings have been used by famous vloggers such as Casey Neistat, Tanner Fox, and Sawyer Hartman, who have a combined total of over 10 million subscribers and billions of views. Karud's foray into music began as a child playing piano. By 13, he knew he wanted music as a career and was already producing hip-hop beats. As an adult, he produced and collaborated with diverse artists and producers, all in diverse genres, rock, pop, and EDM, all in an effort to break into mainstream Swedish music market. Unfortunately, his efforts yielded no true success, and by the end of 2015, he was ready to call it quits. Nevertheless, and with nothing to lose, he decided to create and upload an eclectic blend of all of his influences: 60s soul, 90s West Coast hip hop, EDM of the 2000s, and everything in between, each week on SoundCloud. His focus was to create sounds that made people feel happy, lacked boundaries, and reflected his free-spirited nature. This decision changed his life. Almost immediately, people began asking for permission to use his music on YouTube. Today, Karud's music can be heard in over 300 to 400 new YouTube videos daily, you guys. Karud doesn't take this for granted. He continues to deliver quality music for YouTube and his listeners on SoundCloud while working with artists and producers. His latest body of work is his recently released EP titled Loudness and Clarity. And I'm so delighted to be the one to break him on African Music Law for the first time. Amazing, amazing artist where you get to know his background and everything else. I think is the next big thing. Let's take a break. This time we're going to hear one of his tracks called Vibe With Me. And then you hear my interview with him. Welcome back, everyone, to the AfricanMusicWorld.com show. I'm super excited about this particular episode. I know I say that with each episode. That's because our guests are so amazing and awesome. Introducing to you all the next major super producer. I really believe it. Joakim Karud. Hey, Joakim, welcome to the show. Hey. How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. It's such a delight to spend some time with you, and I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So let me greet you proper in Swedish. Hej då.
Yes, that's right. That means bye.
Oh, okay. Well, hey.
Hey is yes, that's the correct way to
say it. Okay. No, I don't want you to leave right just yet. You just got here. So proper, hey, and then when we're done, we'll say hey do. I know tack is thank you, right? Tack, T-A-C-K?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Tack. All right. I have wonderful, amazing friends in Sweden, and I visited twice. They're twins. One of them is now a Swedish police officer in Stockholm.
Ah, nice.
Absolutely. And I've known them since my teenage years. They used to come out to the university back in the days. Really cool people. So I have an affinity for Sweden. Thank you. I've visited Gothenburg and Stockholm.
Nice.
Yeah. So
cool.
Let's start from the beginning so our audience really gets to know you. First, I discovered you through Jamie and Nikki's vlog. Amazing. Jamie has great taste. Shout out to you, Jamie. When you listen to this podcast, you helped me discover this amazing talent. So let's start from the beginning and sort of get an idea. I know you're located in Malmö in Sweden, correct?
Yes, that's true.
So
yes,
tell us a little bit about Malmö since we're not there. Paint the picture for us. How far is it from Stockholm?
Malmö is a smaller city. It's located in the south of Sweden, almost as south as you can come. And it's about an hour flight to Stockholm. You can drive there with a car in 6 hours as well. It's like the port to Sweden, actually. You get the bridge that goes to Copenhagen. Mm-hmm. So you come to Denmark and down to the continent almost directly. You can go from Malmö, you can go to Denmark in about 40 minutes and you're there.
I remember my friends took me to Denmark. We went to Denmark and we went. Yeah. So maybe that port you're talking about was part of where we traveled too. Awesome. Okay, so let's get into the music scene because I'm very interested in your work. Your work is absolutely mind-blowing. So amazing. I love what you do. So
thank you.
Pleasure. So let's start first with your interest in music. How did your interest in music come about?
From the beginning. I started when I was a kid. I always was interested in music since I was a kid. So I started playing the piano. My grandma actually had a piano in her home. So every time we were there, I run there and started to play that piano. And ever since I've been just sold to music, and I've, and at the same time, I also like, computers and tech stuff. So when we got our first computer, my dad got me one of these programs called Sound Club was the name. I remember it. It was very lo-fi, but it worked really good to produce music in small beats, kind of. So there it started. I was around 8 years old or something. So it went to, when I got a little bit older, I started to produce beats for my friends that rapped. So ever since there, I've produced music, so to say.
At what point did you start doing it professionally?
Professionally, maybe I was about 16, 17 years old, maybe. And I tried to be professional and I tried to do everything right. And I had some friends that also sang and rap, And we made a couple of tracks, and we actually was out there on stages and played, and we had a really great time, but that never got me anywhere, so to say. After that, I just continued, tried to make cool music, and I always tried to have it on a professional level, so to say. But music business is really tough, It's a really tough business to break through.
So it's a really tough business to break through, and I understand you were trying all kinds of genres, rock, pop, EDM, trying to break through to mainstream Swedish music industry, but no one was paying you attention, and then something changed.
It was really hard. I produced some guy that he was a little bit rock influenced kid. He was a few years younger than me, and he sang really good. So we produced maybe 12, 13 tracks, something, and he showed it around to people, and
to the AfricaMusicLaw.com
we sent it around
show.
everywhere, and we never got some recognition. And we also posted it on SoundCloud and all this stuff, but we only got a few plays. It was so hard to market and promote this stuff, and I think that was always my problem, to get the music out there.
Now, I understand that, speaking of that, having no major success to break through the mainstream, I understand that it was so bad that the end of last year, you were like, okay, this is it. I'm about to quit. I'm going to give it one more try, and if it doesn't work, I'm out, basically. Correct?
Yeah, correct. I became a dad a few years ago, and in like 2012, 2013, before I became a dad, I worked a lot with a small duo. We were two guys that make EDM, and we also got signed on a small French, a small French label that signed us to make EDM house music, and they should release it and promote it, and they also released it, but they never promoted it, so it never went anywhere.
They probably didn't have the money and funds to do that.
Yeah, probably. And we kept going to the end of 2015, and then my friend, he got a new job, and we didn't have time to I had just become a dad, and we didn't have the time to work with it. So I decided to take a step back and quit it totally.
Oh, you actually quit it?
I quit it for like a few days, actually.
Okay.
And then I decided I can start a SoundCloud and just for fun make beats somehow. I really look forward to get back to something else than after spending 3 years producing EDM and house music. I was really fed up with it, so I decided to make happy and just chill hip hop influenced beats. So I started to ship them out once a week, a new beat. Suddenly people started to ask if they could use them on YouTube. So I just sure, why not? And after a while, there was this other SoundClouder that reposted my song, and I instantly got around 1,000 followers on SoundCloud. Actually,
wow, that's amazing.
In a few hours, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did that feel? Well, first of all, congratulations on being a new dad. Yeah. A boy or girl?
Thank you.
How many kids now do you have? One or two?
Yeah, it's a boy, and we actually have another one in the oven.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Having a child certainly put things in perspective. You've got to get real now, get to work, make money.
Yeah,
you have a family to take care of, and then you say, okay, fine, but I'm not, I'm just going to do this for fun. You go on SoundCloud, and it's this big thing. How did that feel when that SoundCloud user shared your music?
Yeah, it was really awesome, actually. It was crazy. I don't know. I think in a month I got like 10,000 followers or something.
Wow.
Yeah, and I kept uploading, and I also sent my music to Casey Neistat, the YouTuber. Yeah, and he started to use my music as well. So it got because of that, it got even more attention. So it just continued to grow, and it was very overwhelming,
Yeah,
many
from
people wrote me.
trying.
And,
From trying 3 years, hard work,
Yeah.
signed to a label, everything. Go ahead.
I tried to break through in 17 years.
Oh,
I started when I
wow.
was 13, and since then I always wanted to have a career in music business. And it's when I turned 30, then it happened, so to say.
Wow.
So it took me almost 17 years. So.
Wow. Wow.
But-
They always say, there's a saying that there's never any overnight success. What you see has been a long
Listening
time
to the
coming.
AfricaMusicLaw.com
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, and I think I wasn't ready till now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it takes time to learn everything, with musical stuff, and mixing and mastering and all this other stuff around music itself, and understand how to make a good song and feeling, all this stuff. So I think I needed those years to
to really
so-
sharpen you and get you to be even better.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
okay. Now you have 300 to 400 YouTubers using your music on a daily basis. How have you been able to leverage that towards monetizing, making money off music at this point?
Actually, people can use my music on YouTube for free. I just let them use it, so to say. And, I take it from the start. I let people use my music on YouTube for free, and all they have to do is credit me in the description. So that get a lot of, what do you call it? One thing led to another, if some people, if anyone hear my music in a YouTube video, they can go down to the description and see, then they see my name there. And then they maybe search for it, go to my SoundCloud and listen. They can also find it on Spotify and iTunes, So having all these videos with my music in, it gives really good promotion.
Absolutely. Great marketing and promotion. So has that translated to people saying, we want to work with you? Or, okay, tell us a little bit more. We want to hear that, because one of the reasons I'm asking is you're the perfect case study for the use of social media and how to use social media to really, really amplify your brand and make a living as an artist, or, a music producer, an artist, period. So how now you've got people freely distributing your content, making copies of it, distributing it, calling you and saying, hey, do we have your consent and permission? You're like, sure, use it all you want. And now some of the biggest, YouTubers, 500,000 views on one, video or more sometimes, are sharing your music. Now people are coming to you saying, we want to work with you. So tell us about that part of what that has resulted in, with people wanting to work with you as a result of your music being promoted heavily for free.
There has been people come and ask if they want, if I would like to do collabs. There hasn't been any major big artists yet, but other artists in my level, or what do you call it? I know a few other artists that also makes music for YouTube. So we have ended up to be a little gang of YouTube music creators, so to say, and I have made some collabs with a few of them. So
have you made any money?
Apple Pie.
Oh, sorry. Just have you made any money at all from people using your music on YouTube?
Yeah. From YouTube itself doesn't generate any money for me.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So where's your money coming from? From people using
my money it comes from sales.
Okay.
Many people buy my music on iTunes and also stream it on Spotify you know. And and there's a lot of people just donating money to PayPal actually. Because so good souls, you know, that they want to promote and help.
Because they see the quality of your music. It's amazing. Okay, so a quick question for you then. For the artist listening, whether a music producer or just a recording artist as a whole, how do you, in terms of, do you mind, not too much details, but just giving us an idea of the range of income you can make when you're using SoundCloud, YouTube distributors through YouTubers, and iTunes to market and promote your music? What's that looking like? What's the potential for artists listening worldwide that are going to listen to this because it's you and they love your work and they're like, you know what, I can break into the music industry the way he did. What's the range that they're looking at?
I think the range can go pretty high actually. I think you could make everything between $100 a month to $10,000 a month actually.
Okay. So it all depends on how aggressive you're marketing and promoting it.
Yeah, and I think you have to let it take time because I can see, you know, an increase in my sales every month. So I think if I just give this time, maybe I can just do this full time. Later on, so to say.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Okay, so a few things that I want to get from you as well. We're going to go into the process of creating because I love to sometimes I'll just randomly go on YouTube just to watch producers produce music. I just find the whole process very, very fascinating, and I have producer friends that are constantly sending me beats for me to just listen and give them a take on it because I have a rabbit ear. But in general, just going back to the whole marketing and promotions, once you realize, oh my God, overnight, lots of people, within hours or weeks, I have thousands of people following me. How did you go about setting up, you know, a central location that people can find you, your branding, your visual identity, so your websites, your social media? How did you put all that thing together, or those marketing tools together to even get people to know you more?
I would say I started with my SoundCloud page, and I think there is where I have the most of my audience. So on this SoundCloud page, I can put links in the descriptions, and even on the profile, I can put links to all my other social media, and so I started with this SoundCloud, and then I started a homepage, a website, and I just, you know, a few months, maybe 1 month later, I started with Twitter, and I grew some audience there, and then I started with, you know, Facebook, and I grew some audience there, and now I also started a YouTube actually. So I take all these social mediums and one at a time. So by time I grow these channels, you know. So that this is kind of my recipe, to start with one platform, and then
grow it.
Then you go. I have problem with my English.
No, sorry. That's okay. You're good. You're saying you start with one platform and then grow gradually, as opposed to doing everything all at once. And I agree with you, because social media can be so overwhelming. And I always tell people you don't have to have accounts with every single page. I tell artists this often. What really works for you? Bandcamp, SoundCloud, YouTube. If that's what works for you, focus on that, and then grow that throughout. Exactly. And then have your central location, which you do, your website, as your hub, where people can find you if anything happens to these platforms that are constantly changing how their algorithms work. Where today on Facebook, your content will be top. The next day, you can't be found anywhere because they've changed the way they do business or trying to get more advertising dollars. So
yes.
in looking at everything, all the social media platforms that you've now been using to market and promote Joakim, what's working most? Is it still SoundCloud for you?
I would say every platform has its own
You're listening to the AfricaMusicLaw.com
special,
show.
what do you call it? Has its own, strength. So on SoundCloud, I can't really communicate with my audience other than with music. So if I need to write something to them, like an update, then I use Twitter or Facebook. So it would really be good if SoundCloud actually had a feature where you could write like directly. A status update as well.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, I tried, use the titles of my tracks to put a little message. Please read the description. But I don't know if it works because I don't. It's not. People go there to listen to music.
Yeah, I was gonna say when I go on, I go to listen.
To Twitter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You don't care, about the links in the and the other
just
links
the music.
and stuff.
Yeah. The conversation can
music.
take place on Twitter. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I would like to grow these channels even more. So if there is, a problem somehow, or if maybe if I just would promote some new music coming up later, for example, then I need to use Twitter or Facebook because I can't promote that on SoundCloud because then I had to upload the music directly, even if I wouldn't. So that's I think it's good to have all these channels so you can use them for what they're meant to be used for, so to say.
I completely agree, and to focus on which one works the best for you. You know what? You mentioned something interesting that before, when you were trying to break into the music industry, you actually used SoundCloud. So what do you think changed?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't that good to. You still have comments and stuff on SoundCloud, so you can comment on. So this time I actually commented a lot and followed people. I went into the SoundCloud thing.
So you spent more time when you came back and started to put your music up, saying, I'm just going to do it for fun. You actually invested more time. Okay.
Yeah, actually, that's true. When I uploaded to SoundCloud before, a few years ago, I just put the song there and hope to people to hear it. So I think I have been better to promote it. Yeah. The last year. So
you invested in the relationships with fellow SoundCloud people. You met YouTube people and you have relationships with them. I know Jamie's always using I often see him use a lot of your songs. DZ that you have up off the compilation of one of your, I think it's just is it an EP? Because I'm not sure. I know you have a different release that you did an EP, but you also have like a compilation of all of your songs, right?
Yeah, I have a few compilations. I have the DC compilation. I have and that's just a small compilation of some of my tracks that was released on SoundCloud. So I made a DC compilation to and released it on Spotify and iTunes and all those. So
great work. Okay, so now take everyone. The artists, the composers, the executives, everybody that's listening, take us into your studio and sort of let us vibe with you and get a sense of the process that goes into making your music. And by the way, your music is such an amazing genre: rock, pop, EDM. You've got hip hop there. Some people call it chili hop, and so many things.
It's
head bop. It is amazing. It is amazing. So let's talk about the DZ track, for example. I really love that track. I also love another track you have called Beach. So let's how do you, for a track like DZ, what's the inspiration behind it? And just walk us through the process of how you created it.
Actually, I almost never have a goal when I sit making music. I just go there and I experiment with things. So I can, find a sample of something. It can be a voice, it can be some drums or guitar. So I just chop it up, and play around with it. And when I think it sounds good and still sounds like something completely else, then I take it a step further and starting to experiment with drums and other sounds, synths and bass. So it just actually sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. Actually, it just happens. And
go ahead.
And after an hour sitting and producing something, and I feel this can be really good, then I continue working with it, and then I get more kind of thoughts to it.
So how many hours does it take to produce like a track, for example? Does it depend on the track and what's coming out of you?
Yeah, I think it depends more on me and what state I am in. Some days it's just not working at all. I just don't have any inspiration. I just feel like I have no clue what I'm going to do, and I can't really get a feel for something. So I try making something, but I don't know that doesn't sound good. So maybe I make a few projects a day with just a small loop or some drum or some chords. And then I get back to it maybe the next day, and then I feel, yes, this can be a good beat. So it's very different. It depends what mood I am in. So
do you work also from scratch when you create a beat? I know you mentioned you might look at, something else to inspire, but do you have instances where you literally build from scratch?
How do you mean?
You talked about
scratch.
Yeah, you talked about a sample, but do you have situations where you don't start with the sample, you just go
absolutely.
create?
Absolutely. Yeah, I can start with some chords, or I just take a piano, for example. Like Logic, this software. Yeah, I just take the regular piano and I just play some loops and some chords, and I come up with something. And so absolutely, I can start with the bass line if I like. I don't have a specified like a pattern I follow or something. It's very different from time to time.
Joakim, let's talk a little bit about Africa. Do you have any interest in working with African musicians at all? Because I know you just create all this awesome beats, but have you worked in any shape or form with African artists at all?
No, I haven't actually. There hasn't been any African artists, but I really like Africa. I do. I actually been to South Africa a few times. So I really like the culture, and so absolutely, I could work with African artists as well.
Have you listened to any music from like the whole Afrobeat genre that's now everywhere? The Drake One Dance song that had EDM as well as Afrobeat infused into it. They had the Nigerian artist Wizkid and all that. So do you listen to what other genres of music you actually listen to? I know what you create, but what do you include Afrobeat music to what you listen to?
Not a lot, actually. I have listened to some Afrobeats.
Okay.
I actually have a friend here in Malmö that he plays in a local band, and they play Afrobeats. They're just improvising everything.
Yeah.
So that's my relation. That's
exposure
the
to
nearest.
it.
To Afrobeat I have. So
I'll have to send you some links so you can hear some things and tell me what you think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so what is next career-wise for people listening? How can they get in contact with you? that are interested in working with you. I just believe in what you're doing so much, and I want to see you like fly. You're already flying, but I want to see you like fly so far, because your music is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. People can contact me through my website. They can find my info right there. There is a form also that they can use to get in contact with me. They can also write me on SoundCloud or Twitter, and they can get hold of me from almost everywhere actually.
Okay.
Facebook.
And that's with your name, Joakim, Joakim Karud.
Yeah.
So your first name is Joakim, and then last name is Karud. So with that handle, they can probably get you everywhere online, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I really enjoyed having you. As you continue to grow, please, I'd love for you to come back so we get to talk even more about where your experiences have taken you. And wow, I'm so amazed at the power of social media and also timing, like you correctly said. Everything is timing, 17 years into it, doing it since you were 13, really wanting passionately to break into it, signed to a record label, to produce music. It didn't go anywhere, and just when you said, oh God, okay, I've given up, I have a family, it just blows up. So timing also, but I really appreciate you coming to share your story with us. Now, what is that one recommended track that you want me to play for our audience as we get ready to close this out? Your track.
Then I would like you to play the Loudness and Clarity single, actually.
Okay, I will play it. Thank you so much for coming on. It was fun having you.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun to be here.
Hey do, thank you so much. Hey do, thank you so much. Hey my people, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Make sure you don't forget to subscribe and share with your networks as well. I'm leaving you with the one and only Joakim Karud's Loudness and Clarity single. Enjoy. I'll catch you all next time. Cheers, people.